I'm the scat man. I'm the scat man.
Welcome to Covers as Puck Props with 14-year NHL vet Carlo Colaiacovo, presented by Sports Interaction. Bud, where were the goals last night? Where
sleeping?
How does Colorado get one unassisted goal from UC Parsonen or something, like the fourth line unassisted?
Yeah, it's very weird night. And we talked about it yesterday where, you kind of feel good when there's like these weird nights with small slates. And yesterday was a smaller slate because of the game that was postponed in LA. And man, it's crazy what's going on out there.
Nuts.
You really pray for the people that are out there. But it just seems like we get so excited because there's so much to offer. And then those nights usually provide like duds of games where you see a lot of unders. I think every under cashed yesterday, did it not?
Yeah. All the losing teams scored one goal.
Yeah.
4-1. Florida. We had the Florida under 2.5. They scored 2 empty net goals. It was 1-0 until the Sergachev power play point finally came through.
Mm-hmm.
The Russian says, "What's with the J shirt? Do you know something?" Yeah, that they're brutal, but
yeah, I don't know anything. I just it was one of those shirts I grabbed this morning when I came.
Brave man wearing a T-shirt in this frigid temperature. But let's get going. We got basketball after this. I need everybody to hit that like button as we go right now. And what I do need to do is, like, we're going to throw some stuff out, some Andy words, some sniffs, right? I'll be throwing some plays, but like, as always, you guys can find your own way, find your own bet. As Fleetwood Mac said, you can go your own way. We'll give you some paths to finding some bets, some smaller stuff today. No big stacks. Took it on the chin yesterday. So let's slow it down. But right out of the gate, I was looking at it before we even get to the picks. 5 of the worst 6 penalty kills played tonight over the last 30 days. And I'm going to do a rundown here, a quick little rundown of some of the best power play stuff, because I know people were talking about it yesterday. We hit the Sergachev one, but that was about it. But it's still profitable even in the 3 games. Islanders, worst one. They play Vegas. Stone is 265. Olison's 400. Hurdle's 425. And Theodore's 330. There's a lot of good value in that Vegas power play versus the Islanders. The Blues power play has been awful. Second worst. They play Anaheim. Vetrano's 525 and Strom's 575.
Hold on. So the Blues penalty kill has been awful, not power play.
Sorry, The Blues' penalty kill has been brutal. They face Anaheim. Vetrano 525, Strome 575. Terry will come back. We'll get to Terry. Minnesota's PK, brutal. They face Colorado. You got Lehkonen who took that top spot. I bet on Colton. It was Lehkonen, sadly. Plus 350. Middlestats plus 400 and McCarr's plus 175. The other names I'm not saying, I probably wouldn't bet at them at their price.
Yeah.
Boston PK, brutal. They face Tampa Bay. Hagel 280, Hedman 205. And then Philly's PK's been brutal. They'll face Dallas. And that whole top line, it's a tough one to pick. It's like Ben, Hintz, Johnson, Heiskanen, Robertson. They're all plus 290 to plus 330. So none of them are like really, there's a great value. All of them are right there. If there was ever a day for the Kako Matty Benier stack day for Mr. Gerg, it's today. Sadly, Mr. Gerg, it is not. They have been split up, and that stack, and we'll get to it right now. Seattle, Columbus minus 105. Columbus in a playoff spot right now, by the way, tied for one. Over under sitting at 6.5. First thing we're doing here. Strome is always a good pick. He's a sneaky one there. Fantilli for a point. Plus 132. Everybody is probably aware that Sean Monahan was banged up. He left the game last. We hit the stack, but Fantilli's the man who jumps in here. He'll center that top line, who at home is absolutely dominant. It's a number 1 home offense in hockey at 4.08 goals per game. They score, the totals of the Columbus home games are 7.4 goals per game. Columbus at home is an absolute wagon in terms of goals. Top line is 325 for a stack with Marchenko and Voronkov. Seattle coming from home. So they're West Coast to East Coast on this with not a lot. I think they played on the Monday. So that's about as quick as a trip as you can get all the way across there. Coming off a 3-2 loss to New Jersey. The stack on Seattle, Matty Beniers and Jaden Schwartz. That's the new one. And that triple-double stack, Schwartz, Beniers, and now Fantilli, Voronkov, and Marchenko, plus 1,400, bud.
Wow. Okay. I like that.
I like that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Especially with all the goals that we expect.
Yeah, I do like goals in there. But my question to you is, you have a great relationship with Adam Fantilli. You trained with him. I keep hitting the thing. I keep hitting these things up as I'm trying to blow up my screen, and producer Mick's probably saying, what the hell are you doing? But you do have a close relationship with Adam Fantilli, right?
Yeah.
Former number 3 pick after Bedard and Leo Carlsson. Do you see his skill set at this age being able to take over the number 1 center role and the number 1 PP role in this spot?
Yes, in this spot. I don't think he's ready to do that full time.
Versus number 1 centers. I get it, right? Like
Right.
There's a difference facing Seattle or facing like
Right.
Austin Matthews.
Like there's a maturity to his game, for sure, but I think it's going to take a little bit more time. But you look at the season that he's having, he's on a 3-game point streak right now, and he's got 19. He's 19 points in 41 games. That's just under half a point a game, on a surprise Columbus team. And I think, last year in his first season, bad environment, had an injury, missed half of the season. I think you're slowly starting to see a rise in his game. And I think right now, players that sometimes believe, and I would put Fantilli in this category, where sometimes players that have a lot of hype and expectation coming to the league believe they're better than maybe the way they're being played, wait for opportunities like this that he's getting, and in the absence of their top line center, to get thrown into a role that they haven't played in all year to see if they can thrive in it. And I think Fantilli's one of those guys. Even last game, goal and assist.
And that was after the Monahan injury too.
After the Monahan injury, yeah. So you talked about my relationship with him. Close friends with him and the family. He's got a brother too. And the thing that always impressed me about him was his work ethic and his competitiveness. And this is a great opportunity to showcase both of those.
I hope his brother's name's not Quinn. Does he have no? Is
no,
it
Luca?
Okay, that seems to be the other brother name, right? You had Cole Hudson on the other day, and he's got a Quinn.
Quinn, yeah, and then the Hughes brothers, yeah.
He's Cole sounded awesome yesterday on the radio, right? Like that's not an easy spot to do for a young kid.
He was good.
He was good, but hey, that's a great point. I think you really nailed it. In this spot, I think he can succeed. At home, gets the last change versus a team coming off travel that isn't, I don't know. Chandler Stevenson's actually a pretty good checking center, but I don't think it's a little different in Seattle, I think, than facing a top flight team. But someone in the chat said the Fantilli day, you want Fantilli day over 2.5 shots and the point plus 375. That is massive, and you don't get that number for guys with this opportunity. And that's the thing about hockey, right? Like the books are so slow to adjust these lines. Like if it was in football and let's say George Pickens was out and maybe they actually had a real receiver in number 2, like who is it, Calvin Austin, like his number would go up immediately, like his total. But in hockey, it's just a slow grind. And it takes a couple games to level out to where it should be. Anaheim, St. Louis. Still love St. Louis. I still love St. Louis here. Minus 192 favorite, over under 5.5. When St. Louis is on the road, I'm taking the second line. When St. Louis is at home, I'm taking that first line.
Yeah.
Yep. And Brandon Saad's sneaky here because this is one of the only teams in hockey where their top line all plays PP1 and their second line all plays PP2. And I really think that's a great way to do it. I mean, Brandon Saad's getting PP1 time on this line with Thomas and Buchnevich. I think he should be a lot shorter than plus 135. And he faced a point. Yeah. Like this is a great price. It's kind of,
and he's coming off of a hat trick just 2 games ago, isn't he? Yeah, as the game I did against Ottawa.
Yes, he's looking great. That whole stack, $375 for that top line. So that same price that we're looking at for the Fantilli day. How much for the second line? Kyrou, Holloway, and Shen? $375. If you throw in the stack of the Anaheim guys, because we mentioned that St. Louis penalty kill has been bad, it would be Strome and Vetrano right now. All of a sudden, that's plus 1,800.
Wow. Okay.
For the double triple. If you take that top one. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. But there's a question here. So Troy Terry had a kid. He missed the last game. So usually the stack would be Terry and Vetrano. Kind of leave Strome out of it. You don't want 3 guys from Anaheim because they don't score a lot. I'd rather just 2. And you get a lot of value anyway. But had a kid, likely to come back. You don't spend a lot of time on the paternity drop. It's usually 1 game, right? Guys aren't sitting there.
It depends on the situation.
Yeah,
right?
It depends. Yeah, it depends on the health of the labor, right? The delivery. Yeah. Absolutely. But coach bump, yes. Do you get a kid bump? Right? Do you get a kid bump first game back?
Yeah. I think it is a thing. It's just because a couple of things. Adrenaline, right? You're probably not sleeping much. You want to play in your baby's honor. You want to show the guys up, but also like there's money on the board that's factored in here, right?
Is that a money on the board situation?
Oh yeah, 100%. Guys are absolutely calling this guy out on it and saying, "Oh, somebody had a new kid on the team. I bet that's worth so and so much money." Yeah. He goes up there, he plays for it. So it definitely raises a little bit of extra incentive, but it's always a special feeling around the room when for teammates to celebrate a teammate becoming a father, either once, twice, whatever it is, and the celebration of life in the kid. So I think there is a little bit of a bump there for the player for sure. I just don't know if it's a team sort of bump.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I'm waiting for the Terry prop to open. So how I would deal with this, I would take that top line in St. Louis. If you're going to do the double triple stack, wait for that. And I'd wait to see if Terry comes, because I'd want to put Terry and Vetrano together instead of Strome and Vetrano. But if he doesn't, Strome and Vetrano is the exact same thing. They all play power play 1 together anyway. And then Boog says the bumping is what made the kid. Appreciate it. Great job there. And the level of research I do for you pumpers, where Brewski goes, new dad goal. No, went on Troy Terry's Instagram. He already has another kid. So this is kid number 2, I believe. So it's not number 1 kid. I think in the level of like bumps, I think first kid might be a bigger bump, and then second kid, they go lower with each kid, right?
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Money on the board. No, I don't need to. It's my 4th kid. Monahan just got put on IR. Yeah, was listening to something. They don't really know. They had to have a bone scan to see how bad his wrist injury was, so that's never a good thing. All right, kid bump. Going over to Ottawa. The lack of a bump. Buffalo, Ottawa minus 155. Over under sitting at 5.5. We're going Dylan Cousins for a point, plus 140. That's where we lie on this. He doesn't play on that top PP, but the second power play is good too. But he's centering Zucker and Tage Thompson. And he's playing an Ottawa team, Carlo, that is absolute shit, I think, without Linus Ullmark. Yeah. They win games with Ullmark. You saw it. He was above 500 goalie. I think he's played 12 games, 3 shutouts. But outside of that, trying to figure out where are they. Without him, 7 and 12 straight up with a sub 890 save percentage. Yikes. Forsberg might not play because he's lost 2 straight games. So we might see
Marilainen.
Levi Marilainen, who has 3 of his 4 starts of sub 860 save percentage.
Yikes.
I know Buffalo's just like the roller coaster of a team. They started out 0-3, went 11-6-1, then lost 13 straight, and now they're 4-2-1 in their last bit. They're playing better hockey. They're still last in the East, but they're only 7 points out of a playoff spot. Are the Sens a playoff team without Linus Ullmark, who's on the IR?
No.
Yeah.
No chance.
I'd like a cool hit from it, or like a cool talking point, but they aren't. Like, they're not scoring.
No. I think what they've done is they've sort of tread water here. Because in Ullmark's absence, it hasn't completely fallen off the cliff, but it was in the middle of their year-long 9-game road trip because they had to go on the road for the World Juniors. And I think they've come out of that road trip pretty decent, 4-4-1 coming out of it. They're only 1 point back. Like that's a road trip that can derail your season. right? 9 straight games on the road. And I think for Ottawa, they've gotten out of this okay, but they need Allmark back to get back to the pace that they created before he got hurt. Because it just seems like there's too many teams in the mix right now for those final 2 wildcard spots that to try to continue to hold down the fort without Allmark is going to be really, really draining on this group. Because you talk to anybody that's in the game, you could be a good team. If you don't get great goaltending, you got no chance. No chance.
That's a good point. Like there's so many people in the mix. Like I said, Buffalo last in the East, 7 points out of the last playoff, the last wild card spot.
Well, they need to go on like a 6-game win streak just to get back in it.
Yep, absolutely. Right? I think they could, but again, they're a team that also needs goaltending. They can score. We've seen it. I think that they got some of the best top 9 young talents in hockey. But if UPL isn't really holding the fort, not really going to move up the standings. Mm-hmm. Let's keep going. Dallas, Philadelphia plus 140. Oh, we're losing it again. Over under at 6.5. Jamie Benn's number's been run up. He keeps looking good. Y Johnson, that's a tough stack. I think those two is like plus 105. Not a great stack. But let's go to a guy who played 31 minutes last game.
Wow.
Miro Heiskanen for an assist at plus 115. He has a great scoring matchup versus Dallas. Philly was in that list of bad PKs, 70% in the last 30 days. Philly also coming off that pretty physical, tough home series versus Toronto. Now turn around. Fedotov had all the starts in that. Hold on. Yeah, Fedotov had all the starts. Urson's still out, so now it could be Kolosov start, and he's got a 4 goals against average and an .847 save percentage since December over 8 games. I mentioned it's the worst goalie situation in all of hockey. Lyubushkin's banged up, so more minutes maybe for Heiskanen here too, who's I think 4th in the league in time on ice. Is there a tough spot for the Flyers to get geared up for Toronto for a home and then turn around in a non-conference game to maybe lay a dud here? Are like non-conference games less intense than a division game in hockey?
I don't think it has the same feel like the way the NFL sort of shares that narrative with, division game, it's going to be a lot tighter.
Yeah.
I think in hockey, it's more of, how you're playing at the time and whether or not you want to find a way or you want to look at getting back on track, not find a way to get back on track. You need to get back on track. And I think for Philly, having the disappointment of playing Toronto on a back-to-back and only coming out of it with 1 point, given that it's a home game, I think for them, doesn't matter who the opponent is. It's just it's an opportunity to respond in front of your home fans. Because you look at that game against the Leafs the other night, it was kind of a nothing.
They looked good in the first period.
They looked really good in the first period, and the fans were pretty upset after the game. You see that brawl in the stands.
But what's Buddy doing waving? Have some common sense. I got beat up. Well, you antagonize. I'm not.
It's almost like people forget of the importance of having good awareness of your surroundings, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, you're there, you put your jersey on, you watch the team win, just tuck your tail between your legs and leave the building. Like, don't get into it, fans.
For sure. Yeah. Sorry about. Hey, great game, guys. Don't punch me in the face. That's what I'd be saying walking out. Like, you'd get laughs from Philly guys saying that on the way out, not standing at the glass waving at 1,000 people because it only takes one guy to crawl over 3 seats and punch you in the face. And then you're like, what are you doing?
It's not so. It's absolutely not so. So that's the way I would look at this game. I mean, I don't look at division, conference, or like that. I don't think players do either. Okay. It's just another game on the schedule.
All right, perfect. But Miro Heiskanen playing big minutes. I mean, 31 is insane.
It's ridiculous.
It is
today's game.
But you saw who was it on your show yesterday? They were talking about, or was it a tweet I saw about Miro Heiskanen should be like a Norris guy, but the Norris has become such a Art Ross for defensemen that he won't win it. But he's one of the best defensemen in all hockey. And we mentioned that power play situation that they have, the advantage they have. He's the shortest guy on PP1 in terms of points at plus 275.
For odds?
Yeah.
Wow.
So there you go. Interesting. Oh, I'm just clicking away at things. Sooner or later, one of these Mal clicks is just going to end the stream, and it's just going to be there. All right.
But or something's going to pop up on the screen. And
it's awareness. It's my dumb clicking ability. Someone asked the Buffalo stack in Ottawa. I don't want to do anything because Ottawa's coming off a loss. So I don't know if they're going to change things up because nothing's worked right now. But before that game, the only stack was Batherson and Stützle. And then on the Buffalo side, it's Thompson and Zucker who play 5-5 and PP1. So there's a good point. So there's a really good one. Avi Leaner says, which two guys do you stack? I believe for the Rangers, they brought Lafreniere over to the sideboards last game from like the net or bumper spot, which is huge. And I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if it's priced in. I think you can get away.
Because Kreider's out, right? So who would be playing net front on that PP?
It would be Trocheck. And
here, I'll look up the
and PP. Zibanejad. Sorry, yeah.
I'll look up the PP.
What do you think is wrong with the Rangers? I just think it just breeds and grows, right? Like nothing's fixed. I don't think
it has Trocheck net front, and it has Laffy.
Yeah, I think he was on the sideboard. Yeah. I don't think those are really accurate in terms of where their position is, where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. It's a scary one, but it's another 6.5 total. And you saw the other. Who did they play the other day? They played Dallas, right? Yeah, the Rangers. Yeah. And I'm like a 6.5 total. I'm like, wow, that's big, but that's the way the Rangers are playing right now. They have another 6.5 total versus New Jersey, who I did take a hard look at. Nico Hischier and Nosen for a stack, but avoided it. And let's go to Toronto. Last one. We got to get out of here because we got basketball right now. Toronto, Carolina minus 170 over under 5.5. Toronto money line plus 145.
Yeah.
You had Mike Johnson.
I don't understand this line.
Carolina is a 500 team. We talked about it yesterday. They are not being priced properly for the team they are. Pyotr Kochetkov is not a great goalie. He's 4-7 straight up over his last 30 days. I know the Leafs are on a 5-game run and it's going to end soon, but this is a team who's 8-3 straight up as a dog this year and 5-1 straight up as a dog at plus 120 or bigger
or more. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one, when I saw it this morning, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. I know the games in Carolina, the crowd will probably get the team into it, but you've got a team that's finding ways to win, even though they're not playing their best. And you're right; it's probably going to catch up to them at some point. But they just finished a back-to-back against Philly and won both games. I think that says enough to me about how this team can find different ways to win. And with this type of value, with a good team, it's too hard for me to pass up. I wouldn't be laying the Carolina angle on this one.
No, it's a 500 team, man. They're 18th in point percentage over the last 30 days. Toronto, heater, winning close games. Coming off that tough Philly series, but hopefully
unless this is a Hildeby game.
That's the only worry, right?
Right. If this is a Wall game, you take the value.
But this looks like it's already priced as a Hildeby game. No?
I know.
That's it.
Absolutely does.
Yeah. So if Wall goes, we'll do it. Let's do that. Okay, we got to get out of here. We got Adam and John coming up basketball right now, dropping their plays before you bet coming on at noon. John and Joe will be doing that. Dropped a ton of stuff from the Blitz yesterday. Lots of more stuff coming up. Let's do that. Picks are there. Hit that like button. Share and do it. Push these numbers up. Thank you very much. Sniff your own way, as Andy says. Let's go. I'm Josh Ingles. He's Carlo Colaiacovo. This is NHL Puck Props presented by Sports Interaction. See you back here tomorrow, 10 a.m. with some winners, hopefully.
Ciao.